Hey everyone, welcome to a new video, welcome to my channel. My name is Micah. Today we are talking foundations in my makeup basics series that I've been doing for the past couple of months. I've mainly talked about eyeshadow so far, but I thought we could branch out and talk about some other products and how you might use them or how you might look into buying them and things like that. So if you're starting with makeup and you don't really know where to begin in a certain category, I hope these videos can be a little bit useful for you. Now, when it comes to foundation, I have to be very honest with you. It was one of the last products I tried makeup-wise. I struggled so much finding good foundations that worked on me, that didn't flake off, that didn't give me irritation. Like I've talked about this in my skincare videos a little bit where, you know, my skin used to be very, very sensitive. And there are definitely a couple of foundations that I've tried that really didn't work for me, especially very early on in the journey, you could say. So that's why I think it's very helpful to make a video about foundations, what kinds are out there, and I'm going to be talking to you about those different foundations alongside my 10 favorite drugstore foundations. So that's what we're going to be doing. I'm not really going to be talking about shades and shade matching. I'm going to save that for another day. But in today's video, we're just going to talk different types of foundation, what it can do for you, how they are best applied, and how you can find something that might suit your needs. So let's just get started. I'm gonna start with the category that I have the least foundations of because it's not my personal preference, but it does seem to be the preference of a lot of beauty YouTubers and beauty influencers, I feel, and that's full coverage foundation. I have pretty good skin. Is it perfect? No, I've got texture, I've got redness, I've got sunspots, I've got the whole 9 yards. It's just that I prefer to wear a lighter base and then use a concealer to really conceal that which I need to conceal, so more like spot concealing almost, rather than going in with a very thick cakey base and then do that. Are these cakey? No, they're not, but that's just how I experience full coverage foundations, and a lot of the foundations that are hyped up do not work for me, which is another reason why I wanted to do this video, because there are going to be a couple of foundations that are very popular on YouTube that you're going to think, why don't you mention those? Very simple. I've tried them and they don't work for me. So when it comes to full coverage foundation, I do have to say that, you know, a little goes a long way. Again, I'm not someone who likes to slather on the foundation. I never use more than a pump, ever, on anywhere on my face, really. And, you know, when you see some people using foundations, they like pump it out on the back of their hand, and I'm like, why do you use so much product? When it comes to foundation, when you're trying it out for the first time and seeing what you like, take a pump, see how far it goes, and if you feel you need more coverage, you can always go in with more. That's just the way I would do it. When it comes to full coverage foundations, I have two that I do like. It's the Maybelline Superstay Full Coverage Foundation. This comes in a really weird shade range. This is the more pink toned one. And it's, as you can see, even though it's not like it's summertime, and it's just a little bit too dark for me. I do always keep a white foundation handy so I can like mix things in, and that's something that I do find a little bit problematic with like drugstore foundation is like shade ranges, but we'll talk about that in a different video. I really love this when I try it. I like a more full coverage foundation in the winter time usually. I find it's a bit heavy in the summertime. I sweat more. I just don't want to be wearing something like this, but in the winter time I feel a thicker foundation just stays put more nicely. It covers my dry patches very well. And if you have one that's quite hydrating, it can make your skin look a lot more flawless than a more lightweight one. So that's of course what a full coverage foundation is for. This is really nice because I do find it does work on a drier skin type. A lot of full coverage foundations are very mattifying and are really made for oily skin people. That's not me, so that's why this one I do really like. The other one I like a lot, but this would be my favorite full coverage foundation at the drugstore. But the Milani Conceal Perfect is a really nice one. Again, the shade range of this is a bit problematic. They did extend it, so I did end up buying Porcelain 00A. And that's pretty much, that's a really good shade match for me actually. Before I was using this and had to again mix it in, but now I can just use this foundation by itself and it's fine. I do have to say that I find that this is very heavy. So this is definitely a foundation that I like to use for like a party or when I really, really want something that doesn't budge. You know, if it, I don't go to red carpet events, but I can imagine wearing this when I'm under like studio lighting and doing all that, then this would be my go-to foundation. So it really depends on what you're looking for. I feel that this is a full coverage foundation that is still quite natural. This definitely looks a lot more makeup-y, and it definitely works in certain situations. So for a party or a special occasion, this works well, but this is better for every day. So I mentioned that I didn't really like full coverage because I prefer lightweight foundations, and lightweight, light coverage foundations are really nice if all you want is to just even out your skin tone a little bit. Like, I don't have really bad acne, I don't have anything, like, it's just a bit of discoloration here and there, bit of redness, and I know I'm not going to be able to do anything about the texture on my face apart from, I don't know, having my skin scrubbed off or something like that. So it's not gonna happen, so I just also accepted that there are certain flaws. And I think that that's also what makeup is about for me. And I think that that really taps into what foundation you might like as well. What is your makeup philosophy? Lightweight coverage is where it's at for me. My favorite foundation is like a light to buildable medium coverage foundation that is dewy and radiant. That's my favorite. I do like the set foundation because I'm in my 30s, so I've got lines and like smile lines and deep creases in my forehead. So if I don't set my foundation, it's gonna go everywhere. Plus, I need my foundation to last because I leave the house at around 7:45 and I don't get home often until like 6 or 7. And then very often I even go out after that. So really, I need a good base that is going to last. And I feel that the ones that I have here for you are all going to fit that bill. Like everything else I'm going to be mentioning are some of my favorites. Let's just start about a long-standing favorite, and this is almost gone. Like, I just need to start using this up, really. This is the Maybelline Matte and Poreless Foundation, and this is normal to oily skin. Don't believe that claim on the packaging, because it works really well on my dry skin too. Shade range-wise, this is a really good foundation to look into as well. It does pull quite yellow, but again, I'll talk about that in my other video in the future. And this is just a really nice sort of bog standard everyday foundation. It's not super sheer. It's definitely more of like a medium coverage, I would say, or at least you can get it there very easily. And I do have to say that the original Fit Me I've tried as well, and that is one of the foundations that broke me out. Like around my jawline, I had all these like red bumps after trying that, but this is fine for me. So that's why this matte and poreless version of the Fit Me is just a little bit more of a favorite for me. My favorite super lightweight foundation currently is the Rimmel Breathable Foundation. Now, they put this on the market to replace one of my other favorite Rimmel foundations, which came with a white cap. That was their more like luminous version, but this is a very, very lightweight foundation. It says medium coverage. You don't get medium coverage with this, and the reason for that is that it comes with a doe foot. So you don't really get a pump, and it's very liquidy and very lightweight, but it does work really well on the skin if you're not looking for something too heavy. Again, I would really like to wear this right now. I'm currently trying out something else, but this is a very nice lightweight base for the summertime. In the UK, they have a better shade range, I feel, than they do over here, and this is just a really, really nice one for when you want to wear a little bit of base, and you want something more than like a tinted moisturizer, so you do still want to wear a foundation, but you don't want it to have too much coverage. This is really nice. Then an OG, the Bourjois Healthy Mix Foundation. There's also a Healthy Serum Foundation, but that's not for sale here, so I definitely need to go abroad to see if I can find it sometime, because I'd like to try that actually. But this comes in the shade Vanilla Claire, and this has been reformulated since, and this is the reformulated version, which I like better than the original version because this is a little lighter weight, it's a little bit more liquidy. The shade is a better match for me as well. The other one was just a little, Yeah, it just looked a little bit more cakey and a little bit more natural. This is a very natural looking foundation. It claims to have some sort of like vitamin E complex in it, so it should also be good for your skin. And I'm not sure if that's true, but this is just a really nice foundation. I also want to keep one of these on hand because this is a really good one. And then we have L'Oreal True Match. This is the European version, in case you were wondering. We get a pump. In the US, you don't. This is in the shade 1N, Ivory. And again, the shade range of this foundation is really nice. It's a super lightweight, everyday foundation. So especially if you work in an environment where wearing a lot of makeup is just a no-go. Like if you're still going to school, or if you're like working in an office where that's just not accepted. Like this like on fleek Instagram look, I mean, it's great for Instagram. It's great if you're a drag queen. It's great in pictures and video. It's not so great for everyday life, I feel. My opinion. Yeah, if you want to look like that, you do you. That's absolutely fine. But there are just going to be situations where people are going to call you out for wearing an eye look like this. Like if I show up to work like this, I'm definitely going to get some comments, and not all of them are going to be like super positive, I think. So definitely wearing something a little bit more lightweight in your base can work there as well. The True Match is one of my long-standing favorites. I had this in the old packaging. I've had it in the US packaging. It's just a really, really good bog standard foundation that doesn't have too much coverage. And now we're transitioning into, I would say, like my favorites of the favorites, and definitely a category that I'm more into right now. When I started with foundation, these like super lightweight ones were my ultimate favorites, but now I do like a little bit more of a medium coverage, and I feel that you really get it with this. This is the Catrice HD Liquid Radiance Long Wear Smooth Glow Buildable Coverage Foundation. That's a mouthful. This is the dewy version of the HD foundation that they're doing. I think it's HD Liquid. So that has black packaging. This has dark like burgundy red with like a rose gold cap. And this is one of those you need to shake up, and then it has a little dropper. And this is just a very liquidy, thin foundation, but it's got really, really good coverage. But it's still dewy, it's still natural, it is medium, but where the one in the black packaging didn't work for me because it was too drying, here we go again, it just didn't look very nice on me. It looked very cakey. It sort of like sucked the life out of my skin, made it look very dull as well. But this, I'm so happy they came out with this. I know this is not available everywhere yet. I'm waiting for this to launch in the US. I haven't heard anybody talking about this. This is a really great foundation, and over the winter time they extended the shade range, which means that I now have my shade in this, which is 005 Ivory Beige. I love this one by Catrice. Now the first one that I really started loving was this one. This is the Max Factor Healthy Skin Harmony Foundation. And this is a really, really good foundation if you like something very healthy looking, very skin-like, dewy, but still medium coverage. In the US, I believe this is marketed as the CoverGirl Vitalist Elixir Foundation, something like that. They're the same one. It's just like slightly like this. The packaging of this is absolutely horrendous. And the shade range of this is atrocious. Max Factor. Do something about your shade range. This is one I need to mix in. Let me show you. That's like 3 shades too dark for me. But I still really like this foundation, which is why I'm keeping it around, because it's just such a good one. And I had lots of compliments when I was wearing this. This feels very comfortable on the skin. It doesn't crease. It looks healthy. It looks glowy. This just does a little bit more for me than, for instance, something like the True Match, which, like, this just gives a little bit of, like, well, not coverage, I should say. It's like evens out the skin. This just makes it look like my skin, but like 20 times better. That's what this does. And then 2 very recent launches in the drugstore are these 2. The L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation and the new Maybelline Dream Urban Cover. And the reason why I'm mentioning these is because I tried them and I really like both of them, especially the L'Oreal. So let's talk about the Maybelline first. So this is slowly being rolled out around the world in the past couple of months, I'd say, but I haven't heard a lot of people talk about this yet, actually. It was first launched in the UK. This is in the lightest shade, Fair Porcelain, and it's actually a hair too light for me. I feel that when you apply this to your face, it turns lighter, so where a lot of foundations oxidize and become darker, this doesn't do that for some reason. And this is full coverage, it says. It's not. It's more of a medium. It does have a very lightweight texture. It says it has SPF 50, broad spectrum plus anti-pollution. So this is trying to be a dupe of the IT Cosmetics CC cream, which it's not. This definitely looks a little bit more makeup-y than that, I feel. But it is a very nice drugstore foundation. It feels very comfortable. It's very comparable to the Max Factor, I'd say, where it makes your skin just look healthier and happier and just like a better version of you. That's pretty much what this does. But now, the star of the show, if I had to pick my current top one like favorite foundation in the drugstore, it would be this. This is the reformulated Infallible Fresh Wear foundation. They did this in the, I think it was called the Stay Fresh foundation. This has been updated, comes in a better shade range, and it is gorgeous. The Infallible line comes in several different types of foundations. There's also a Pro Matte, which I tried and only looked nice on me if my skin was like super hydrated. Didn't really work for me. But this is like their more dewy, radiant, more hydrating version of the Pro Matte. That's how I would describe this. This looks so good on the skin. Like, this is the type of drugstore foundation that could fool you into thinking it's a high-end one. The packaging is nice and heavy. It comes in a glass bottle. It's got a nice pump. You only need one pump of this and you get the coverage that you need. And this makes my skin look so good. Doesn't crease, stays put all day, works well with like other makeup products. I wore this to like workouts, dance classes, dance evenings. It stays put. This is pretty much everything that I want in a foundation. So that's why I do want to put this at the top of my list. And of course, you need to figure out what your needs are. What kind of skin type do you have? That's very important. And secondly, what kind of coverage do you want? I don't think you need to wear any of these foundations because somebody told you to. I definitely don't feel that you need to wear a full coverage foundation. It does, of course, have to do with your confidence level, what you feel comfortable with, and what you like. And that's what I would look for. So that means we've come to the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel. I make new videos 3 times a week, Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. That's when my videos go live. So I hope to see you in one of those very soon in the future, and I hope you have a great day. Bye!